Hello, welcome to the video. In this video I'm going to be showcasing and showing you the ins and outs of my toxic build. Now going into it. The first weapon I'm using is the Spear of King Fushai. When A in tree, a B plus in fire, and a D plus in earth. And it has an attack power of 478. Now, I'm not really going to use this weapon. This is more of a just if I want to use it kind of weapon, because I'm only using it for the set bonus requirement mitigation. Now getting on to my second weapon. It's the Bronze Poleaxe, plus 9. It goes to 652 attack power with a base attack of 267. It got a C minus in fire, an A plus in earth, and an A minus in toxic, with heaven reversal on it and C split. Now going to the amendments, it got spirit attack, spirit damage plus 4.3%, negative effect duration on enemies plus 2.9%, power drop on enemy upon martial art, toxin attack power plus 19, and the grace I have that I'm using on this build is the Grace of Shaohao, the White Emperor. And what this grace exactly does is it gives, for stage 1, enemy status effect accumulation plus 7.2%. Metal phase spell consumption negative 2.5%. And then it puts on slow upon martial arts. Not only that, but at tier 4, when you damage an enemy with a negative effect, it's plus 8.1% more damage. Now getting into the actual good thing, well, the best thing about this build is the subtlety of metal phase. It requires a metal virtue value of 70 or greater to activate. When you successfully deflect a critical blow, subtlety of metal phase will be inflicted on the enemy target. This negative effect is permanent and cannot be removed. Subtlety of metal phase. Reduced HP, damage dealt, and normal attack spirit gain. And increases HP damage received. Right? So whatever buffs and debuffs you already have on the build, you're getting more. You're getting 3 more with just that one subtlety of metal phase. And it's permanent. Now, getting on to my bows. I have the bamboo bow with a attack power of 308. A base attack power of 226. I got an A plus in water. I got bow spirited attack damage plus 7.1%. And the amendment, spirit vulnerability upon just shooting them. It got positive effect duration plus 2.8%, HP plus 14, and toxic attack power plus 19. Now, and then on my second one, I have attack power 299, base attack 223. It scales A plus in water like the other one. And the amendments are range attack damage plus 4.2%, enemy status effect accumulation plus 5.5%, Lux at plus 28, positive effect durations at plus 2.7%, and toxic attack powers at plus 17. Now getting into my armor, I'm wearing the assassin cap for my helmet, which gives me a defense of 78 at plus 8, with a physical resistance of 1.8% and a spirit defense of 8. It gives me 36 defense in tree, 18 defense in fire, and 18 defense in water. Now, looking at the amendments, I get that fatal strike damage plus 4.2%, which is really good. Damage application upon wizardry spells. Wizardry spell spirit consumption negative 2.1%. Toxic attack power plus 19%. Negative effect duration on enemies plus 2.8%. You want to keep the negative effect as long as possible. Poison accumulation on enemies plus 8.4%. With a defense of 201, it's the lead tiger servant armor. physical resistance of 5%, spirit defense of 33, and it has a toxic defense of 60. So it's not gonna scale in the defense and anything else but the toxic, but that's a huge number for defense. For negation. Negative effect duration on enemies plus 2.8%. Damage received negative 1.9%. Toxin damage plus 3.5%. And then toxin attack power plus 19%. Now we'll get into gauntlets with the yellow turban champion bracers. I got these only to plus 7. I need to upgrade them to plus 8. But them at plus 7, the defense is 97. We got physical resistance to 2.7%. Spirit defense to 18. 36 negation defense into earth. And then we have martial arts spirit consumption, negative 2.6%. Toxin attack power, plus 19. Slow on enemy upon deflecting a critical blow. Poison accumulation on enemies, plus 8.2%. And then toxin damage, plus 3.4%. So I'm getting a bunch of toxin damage off that scare that I'm reading off. Now on my pants, I'm also wearing the yellow turban soldier footwear with a defense of 107, a physical resistance of 2.8%, and a spirit defense of 16. Now I have fire, 24 for resistance, 48 for earth on resistance, and a 24 on toxic for resistance on this piece. On the amendments, I have spirit gain from normal attack plus 3.5%, spirit attack spirit damage plus 3.4%, poison accumulation on enemies plus 8.0%, negative effect duration on enemies plus 2.9%, and toxin attack power plus 19%. Right? So, with that, I'm going to go into my accessories. My first one has a defense of 1, physical defense of 0, and spirit defense of 0. It's a 5-star belt hook. For the embedments, it has HP plus 18, range attack damage plus 3.3%, toxin attack power plus 19, lightning resistance plus 19, martial arts spirit consumption negative 2.1%, and enemy status effect accumulation plus 5.9%. So I'm basically accumulating it at a massive rate. With this one, it's a large grass knot, rank 5, with a defense of 1, physical resistance of 0, and a spirit defense of 0. Now it gives me 3 in fire and tree for resistance on this piece. Now on the amendments, it gives me spirit attack damage plus 2.9%, status effect accumulation negative 4.7%, just so it's harder to put on me. Wizardry spell consumption negative 2.1%, power gain upon deflection, always good to have, and then spell duration plus 5.9%. Now on this piece, I have the aspiration of restoring the Han Empire, right? Just so I can get that first plus 10 HP. It's always good to, get a little extra here and there. Just off different builds, especially if you got your main build that just going like that. Now for the spells, I'm using Elemental Plague, which increases the accumulation of all status effects. I'm using Life Wither. Release a curse bolt to the front. Enemies hit will receive more damage for a certain period of time. Which, with this and with Calamity Bolt, I could basically put 2 to 3 debuffs on any enemy with just any one of these wizardry spells. And the Calamity Bolt, it releases a curse bolt and to the front. Enemies hit will deal less damage. Now with this one, I'll deal more damage to the enemy. Now the bottom one is Venom Snare. This one is really important for the build. So, it releases a curse bolt to the front that will form a poison fog around the enemy. It hits the fog It will cause damage over time to enemies touching it. So what it'll do is it'll damage them over time, constantly do a fog, and also put toxic on them. So it's doing damage with the fog and doing toxic damage. Now let's go into the showcase real quick. And then after the showcase, I'm going to show you, I'm going to go in depth and go into the status menu and show you everything stacked. Like the actual numbers, the end numbers. Alrighty, let's get into it.
No one can stop my blade with ease. You are indeed the warrior I thought you were. I'm impressed. With each loss, you teach me. Without compassion, you may be able to kill, but you will never inspire. Perhaps that is why General Liu, with his infinite empathy, was a warrior without equal.
Now I am going to be showcasing you guys the status menu of this build, just so you guys can see generally what the end numbers are, and not on just the individual pieces. Now on my wood and fire, I have that to 1. On my earth, I have that to 52, metal to 99, and water virtue to 1, right? So I also have it so my HP is 739, my melee weapon is 478, melee weapon 2 is 652, my ranged weapon attack power is 308, my defense is 495, my physical resistance is 2.3%, my spirit defense is 75, which is super low, but this build's not really focusing on the defense. Spirit sustainability 232, spell duration 105.9%, no stealth or no luck. And I have the attack on the spirit gain to 103.5%, the deflect on 126.0%, and then on the spirit consumption rate, I have martial arts to 95.3%, wizardry spells 62.3%, and deflect on 100%. So I'm still getting that 26 plus on every deflect. So I'm in the positive. Now if we go into equipment weight, right? The max 84.1, but I'm only at the proportion of 20.5, which puts me at agility of A, which is awesome. Like, I just fly when I dodge. Now, going into my resistances and attacks, I have 192 in earth and 427 in metal. Now for my defenses, I have 303 in tree, wood, 45 in fire, 84 in earth, 89 in metal, and 169 in water. I'm not really doing too good on the fire resistance, but it's not a big deal, especially if you're on blocking and just parrying. Now, getting into the actual key info that you guys need on the build. The HP total would be plus 42. The spirit sustainability would be plus 12. Spell duration plus 5.9%. Toxin attack power plus 133. Lightning resistance plus 19. Spirit attack damage plus 2.9%. Spirit attack spirit damage plus 7.7%. Damage to enemies with negative effects plus 8.1%. Spirit damage to enemies with negative effects plus 10.2%. And that also goes up with the morale. Fatal strike damage plus 4.2%. Range attack damage plus 3.3%. Bow spirit damage plus 7.1%. Damage received negative 1.9%. Wizardry spell damage plus 4.3%, which helps with my toxic, especially the venom snare. Toxic damage plus 6.9%. Enemy status effect accumulation plus 20.3%. Opponent accumulation plus 24.6%, which is super good because that means I have basically almost 50% accumulation on enemies. So the poison guy get on them super fast no matter if they're, really strong against it or not. The positive effect duration plus 2.8%, negative effect duration on enemies plus 11.4%, which added on with what poison already does, which makes it make the debuff stay on longer, right? So it's more than plus 11.4%. It's not going to show it. Status effect accumulation negative 4.7%. Spirit gain from normal attack plus 3.5%. Martial arts spirit consumption negative 4.7%. Wizardry spell spirit consumption negative 4.2%. And metal phase spirit consumption is a negative 2.5%. Now, onto the debuffs and buffs. I'm getting power drop on enemies upon martial arts, slow on enemies upon martial arts, so that's already 2 upon just 1 martial art. Power gain upon deflection. I'm getting spirit vulnerability from a range attack, which is quick, just 1 arrow, and you just get that spirit vulnerability. Power drop on enemy upon wizardry spell. Damage amplification upon wizardry spell. So I'm basically double stacking that, plus my spells that I already have on my build. Slow on enemy upon deflecting critical blow. Set bonus required mitigation and subtlety of metal phase. Now, if you enjoyed the video, leave a like, subscribe, hit that notification bell, and I'll see you next time. Whoop whoop.